When we talk about reconciliation, our minds usually go to history books, maybe policy debates, and community town halls. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for building a new path forward is technology? Yeah, you heard that right. So let's dive into this really fresh take on a super important Canadian journey.
It's a pretty bold question, isn't it? Can something as modern, as digital as artificial intelligence really help us address centuries of incredibly complex history? Well, today we're going to explore how some amazing innovators are betting that the answer is a huge yes. They're using digital tools to build bridges in ways we probably never even imagined.
But hang on, before we get into all the cool tech, the how, we really need to get a handle on the why. What's actually driving this big push for a totally new approach? It all boils down to a core concept that is fundamentally changing the game for Indigenous peoples and corporate Canada. Okay, so what exactly is economic reconciliation? Let's be clear, this isn't just about charity or donations. It's a much, much deeper process. We're talking about a fundamental rebalancing of the entire economic relationship. It's about closing those systemic gaps and, crucially, restoring Indigenous jurisdiction. The big thing to remember here is that this is a structural shift, not just another checkmark on a corporate responsibility list.
92. I mean, on its own, it's just a number, right? But in the story of reconciliation in Canada, this number is a massive catalyst for change, and it's aimed squarely at the business world.
And that number connects directly to this Call to Action 92 from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. This isn't a suggestion. It's a direct, unambiguous call for the corporate sector to get in the game. It's asking businesses to become real, active partners in reconciliation, to commit to meaningful consultation, to create fair access to jobs, and to build lasting relationships.
So you've got this huge, important mandate. If you're a company, where do you even start? It can feel overwhelming. Well, that's where the hero of our story comes in. Let's meet Bear Standing Tall Incorporated, a company that was literally built to answer that call.
Now, the person behind the company is Jason Carter, who also goes by Bear Standing Tall. And his background is, honestly, the secret sauce to this whole thing. He's a proud Nahayao from Onion Lake Cree Nation, so he's deeply rooted in Indigenous wisdom. But check this out. He's also an e-learning and AI software developer. It's that incredible mix of ancient tradition and cutting-edge technology that makes what he's doing so groundbreaking. And his company's mission? It perfectly reflects that unique blend. As a certified Indigenous business, Bear Standing Tall Inc. is all about turning the idea of reconciliation into something real. They don't just talk about the principles, they actually provide the digital tools to make it happen, helping companies move from just having good intentions to taking real, concrete action. Okay, so how do they actually do it? How do they take this huge mission and turn it into something a manager or an executive can actually use day to day? Let's pop the hood and take a look inside their digital toolkit. This is where theory gets put into practice. And this is where the innovation just pops. They've built this entire suite of AI-powered resources, courses, toolkits, ebooks that take complex cultural knowledge and make it accessible and, more importantly, actionable for a corporate audience. We're not talking about a one-off diversity workshop here. This is about providing continuous, scalable learning that can grow with an organization. And just look at how specific this is. This isn't some generic one-size-fits-all training. They've got dozens of ebooks on topics that are tailor-made for specific industries, like the financial sector. You can go from the basics, like understanding the Indigenous economy, all the way to high-level strategy and even tech development. It's basically a clear roadmap for any business that's serious about this. Now, this is really cool. Probably their most cutting-edge tool is the AI-powered Reconciliation Copilot. The best way to think about it is like a smart assistant for your company's entire reconciliation journey. It doesn't just give you information, it actually helps you analyze your progress and offers customized recommendations. It turns your data into a clear path forward. And what's so great about this is that all this incredible knowledge isn't locked away in some expensive corporate vault. With really accessible monthly and annual memberships, anyone, an HR professional, a consultant, or just a curious employee can get full access to these tools. It really democratizes the education that's needed for true reconciliation to happen. So, we've seen the tools for individuals, but what does this look like on a bigger scale? How does this whole approach create a real, tangible impact for an entire corporation? Let's zoom out. A huge part of the answer is the PAIR program. You can think of this as the gold standard. It's the top corporate social responsibility certification in Canada, specifically for Indigenous relations. It gives companies a structured way to measure, improve, and ultimately certify their performance. And this isn't some one-and-done deal where you get a badge and you're finished. No, it's a journey. Organizations progress through bronze, silver, and gold levels. This tiered system is smart because it encourages continuous improvement and shows a real long-term commitment, which is absolutely essential for building trust. And Bear Standing Tall Inc. is there to guide companies through that whole process.
So why does this certification matter so much? Well, the business case is crystal clear. Pair-certified companies are seen as trusted partners. They become employers of choice. It's a powerful external stamp of approval that verifies a company's commitment, proving that you're moving way beyond just words on a website to proven, meaningful action.
But beyond the business case, there's the human impact. And this quote, wow, this powerful testimonial from the K-Line group of companies just shows the profound effect this education can have. It's about understanding difficult, horrifying truths so that we can build a better, more respectful future together. That right there is the real transformation. Okay, so let's bring it all together. What does this new tech-powered approach to reconciliation really mean for the future? Well, if you ask me, it means one thing above all else: action. This chart really shows how all the pieces just fit together perfectly into a complete ecosystem. It's not just one thing. You have the digital training, the strategic advisory, the licensing, the certification. They all work together to support an organization from every single angle, making sure they have everything they need to succeed. Ultimately, what this all leads to is one powerful conclusion. Meaningful reconciliation demands that we move past vague statements and good intentions. It demands actionable strategies, clear frameworks, and outcomes you can actually measure. And as we've just seen, technology, when it's guided by Indigenous wisdom, can give us the exact tools we need to do that. And that brings us to our final question, and this one's for you to think about. With these new tools and clear pathways now available, the chance for real, meaningful participation has never been greater. The next chapter is literally being written right now. So the question is, what role will you play?